There's actually a really nice software that people should check out, like a service. It's using machine learning really nicely for podcast editing,
Hmm.
where it learns the voice of the speaker and it can change the words you said.
It's like some deep fake stuff.
It's deep fake, but for positive applications. It's very interesting. It's like the only deep fake positive applications I've
I have
seen.
a friend who's obsessed with deepfakes.
Yeah.
What's great about, I think, deepfakes is that it's going to do the opposite of sort of what's happening with our culture, where
Yeah.
everyone will have plausible deniability.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the hope for me is there's so many fake things out there that we're going to actually be much more skeptical and think and take in multiple sources and actually like reason, like use common sense and use like deep thinking to understand like what is true and what is not. Because we used to have like traditional sources like the New York Times and all these kinds of publications that had a reputation. There are these institutions and they're the source of truth. And when you no longer can trust anything as a source of truth, you start to think on your own. That gets part of the individual. That takes us way back to like where I came from, the Soviet Union, where you can't really trust any one source of news. You have to think on your own. You have to talk to your friends.
Tremendous amount of intellectual autonomy, don't you think? Think about the societal consequences.
Absolutely. I mean, we see so much decentralization in all aspects of our digital lives now, but this is like the decentralization of thought.
Yes.
You could say it's sadly, or I don't think it's sad, is decentralization of truth, where like truth is a clustering thing, where you have these like this point cloud of people just swimming around, like billions of them, and they all have certain ideas. And what's thought of as truth is almost like a clustering algorithm when you just get a bunch of people that believe the same thing. That's truth. But there's also another truth, and there might be like multiple truths. And it's almost it will be like a battle of truths. Maybe even the idea of truth will like lessen its power in society, that there is such a thing as a truth. Because like the downside of saying something is true is it's almost the downside of what people like religious people call scientism, which is like once science has declared something as true, you can't no longer question it. But the reality is science is a moving mechanism. You're constantly questioning, and maybe truth should be renamed as a process, not a final destination. The whole point is to keep questioning, keep discovering.
Kind of like we're going backwards in time to like back when people were sort of finding their identities and we were less globalized, right? Like people would get together and they'd get together around common value system, common morals, and a common place, and those would be sort of these clusters of their truth, right? And so we have all these different like civilizations and societies across the world that created their own truths. You know, we talk about the Jews and the Talmud and Torah. We can look at Buddhist texts. We can look at all sorts of different truths and how many of them get at the same things, but many of them have different ideas or different articulations.
Yeah, Harari and Sapiens rewinds that even farther back into like caveman times. That's the thing that made us humans special, is who can develop these clusters of ideas, hold them in their minds through stories, pass them on to each other, and it grows and grows. And finally, we have Bitcoin. So, which money is another belief system that has power only because we believe in it. And is that truth? I don't know, but it has power, and it's carried in the minds of millions, and thereby has power.